As a filmmaker, it's important to think critically as you watch other movies and TV shows. Really take the time to examine what you see on screen. Don't let the visuals just wash over you. Really consider why directors make certain choices and think about how these choices convey information about the story and also the character. One of the things to look for is how a director shoots dialogue between two characters. Shot, reverse shot is a trait that's very common among every film or TV show, and yet the audience can still learn a lot about the tone, the theme, story, and characters just by simply observing the composition of these shots, if they're done well. There's a great video essay about shot, reverse shot on the YouTube channel, Every Frame a Painting. You'll find a link in the video description below. Okay, so what can we learn as filmmakers by looking at the ways in which other directors handle shot, reverse shot? First, it's easy to rely solely on a typical over-the-shoulder shot for every dialogue scene. It's pretty standard and can be seen in every film or TV series. But when you want to start storyboarding for your film, you want to think strategically about how to compose your dialogue scenes. I don't want you to rely on the over-the-shoulder look only. It certainly has its place, like orienting the viewer by establishing line of sight and spatial relationships, but I don't necessarily believe that every dialogue scene should be shot in this manner. I think the content of the scene, along with the mood of your film, the theme, the subtext, and where the scene fits in within the larger narrative should dictate how you approach your dialogue scenes and how you should frame up shot, reverse shot. Consider what we can learn about character and story from some of the following examples. Director Paul Greengrass loves to dirty the frame when shooting dialogue scenes. For these dialogue scenes, Greengrass will often use a longer lens, which compresses the spatial relationship between two characters that are on the screen. It emphasizes the ideas of threat and conflict. This dirtying of the frame also creates a slightly voyeuristic feeling for the audience, as if, we're peering into a situation that we really don't need to or want to be involved in. And since Greengrass will often shoot these scenes handheld, the shakiness of the camera adds a certain intensity, edginess, and uneasiness. Okay, so what about short side framing? It's an unconventional framing that places characters on the short side of the composition, leaving very little talk space. Whenever you see short side framing, it might tell you that the character is offbeat, quirky in some way, that he or she is different from the norm and maybe doesn't follow conventional societal rules. It also might convey a sense of paranoia, that idea that there's always something lurking behind the character. Because if you're watching a scene play out on the short side of the frame, our attention can easily be drawn to the negative space behind the character, anticipating someone or something to appear behind them. Or it can also convey the idea that there's something from the character's past that he or she is running from but can't quite seem to shake. There's a great article on short side framing that I recommend. You'll find a link to that article in the video description below. Check it out and see what you can learn about short side framing. Let's look at films like Silence of the Lambs. In this film, director Jonathan Demme made the bold choice to center the characters in the frame during dialogue scenes and have them talk almost directly into the camera. Now, this technique has many effects. First, it's very unsettling because we're not accustomed to watching dialogue scenes play out in this manner, so it makes us feel a little bit uncomfortable having a character look directly at us. It places us, the audience, right there in the scene with Agent Starling because this is her story, it's her journey. Throughout the film, she's trying to prove herself as a capable agent when many look down on her because she's a woman. We're seeing things a lot through her eyes throughout the film. And when we see other characters staring right back at us in these dialogue scenes, we too feel a little bit of what she's feeling, that she's being scrutinized, evaluated, and critiqued. Let's look at another technique. How about placing the camera behind the actors as they sit next to each other? Now, this can certainly say things about the characters in the story that's different from scenes where the camera is placed in front of the actors. It communicates this idea of secrecy. The characters are closing themselves off to the camera and therefore to the world around them and us, the audience. In this video, I've attempted to give just a general overview of shot, reverse shot composition options. Hopefully this video has shown how much a director can convey about story and character even when shooting something seemingly as ordinary as a simple dialogue scene. I'd love to hear your comments, what has worked for you, what advice you would give to other filmmakers. So be sure to leave your questions and comments down below. As always, click subscribe so you know when new videos are posted. As always, you can connect with me on my website at clinttill.net. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.